Donald Trump, never one for historical nuance, says Gaza is nothing, a demolition site to be wiped clean, emptied and rebuilt in his image. Nigel Farage, no less arrogant or ignorant, dreams of turning Gaza into casinos, bars and nightclubs. But Gaza is not nothingness. If every grain of sand could speak, it would tell its luminous story of centuries, of empires, of merchants and scholars, of warriors and poets. It would tell of cities that rose and fell, of prayers that never ceased, of hands that built and rebuilt, again and again refusing to vanish. Typical of conquerors, to stand among ruins and proclaim a terra nova. Typical of tyrants to burn a land, to massacre its people, to tear down its walls, then stand upon the ashes and declare, "It was empty, it was never here, history begins with us." But Gaza has seen this before. Gaza has heard these lies before. If every stone of Gaza could speak, it would not whisper, it would roar. It would sing of the Anthedon harbour, where Phoenician ships once set sail, carrying the wealth of this land to the farthest corners of the earth. It would tell of the Umari Mosque, where prayers have risen since the Caliph's time in the 7th century, now a graveyard of broken stone. It would recall the Church of St. Porphyrius, where candles have burned since the 4th century, where voices once echoed in reverence, until the faithful sought refuge inside and the bombs fell. It would mourn the monastery of St. Hilarion, where monks have worshipped since 340 AD, through the reigns of emperors and sultans, now a ruin among ruins. Israel's assault has not only shattered the living, but history itself. More than 200 World Heritage Sites had been obliterated, not by accident, not as collateral damage, but as deliberate targets, and a campaign to sever Gaza from its own past. 1,109 mosques attacked, 834 leveled, 3 ancient churches destroyed, 40 cemeteries bombed, graves unearthed, bodies stolen. The past itself has been dug from the ground and desecrated. It is not just destruction. This is an attempt to erase the very idea that Gaza and its people have ever belonged to this land. And yet, Gaza was ancient when Rome was young. It thrived before London and Paris were even imagined. British archaeologist Flinders Petrie traced Gaza's origins to Tel al-Ajul 5,000 years ago, where Canaanites, Egyptians, Philistines, Persians and Greeks each left their mark. 1,000 years before Christ, the Ma'an kingdom of Yemen made Gaza a hub of trade, sending its riches to the Mediterranean, to Europe, to Africa, to Asia. Hashim ibn Abdi Manaf, great-grandfather of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, made his home here, securing the wealth that built Mecca. A journey so vital, so entwined with history, that it is forever preserved in the Quran as the journey of winter and summer, رحلة الشتاء والصيف, a journey so vital that it was immortalized in the Quranic surah of Quraysh. That is why Gaza is lovingly known as Hashim's Gaza, Ghazat Hashim. It is said that during the Prophet's expedition to Tabuk, the Bishop of Gaza came to him with an account of how Hashim's wealth had been safeguarded by the local church, held in trust for generations. The bishop returned it, and the Prophet distributed it. One of countless stories of ancient, intimate bonds between the Christians and Muslims of the land. Empires rose and fell. Byzantines built churches. Ottomans raised mosques. Crusaders seized the city only to be repelled by Saladin Salah ad-Din, who marched through Gaza before liberating Jerusalem in 1187 AD. Here was born Imam al-Shafi'i, one of Islam's greatest legal minds, who shaped the laws of nations, who traveled far and wide, but longed for his birthplace wherever he went. He says, "I yearn for the land of Gaza, though after our parting silence betrays me. May Allah bless a land whose soil, if I could grasp, I would press to my eyes as kohl from longing." Yet today a Fox News anchor sneers shamelessly, dismissing Gazans as uneducated, parroting the same colonial rhetoric that has always been used to justify genocide. The aim is clear: dehumanize them, render them primitive, incapable, unworthy. make the world believe that their annihilation is no great loss. But the truth exposes the lie. Even under siege in 2022, Gaza's literacy rate stood at 97.84%, one of the highest in the world. Before the war, it had 12 universities producing doctors, engineers, scientists, thinkers. Every single one has now been destroyed. More than that, Israel has hunted its intellect. At least 94 university professors executed, hundreds of teachers, thousands of students buried with their families under the rubble. Gaza is not merely a city. It is the backbone of Palestinian identity. After the Nakba of 1948, when 750,000 Palestinians were exiled, Gaza became a refuge for the displaced from Yafa, Asqalan, Al-Fallujah, Bir Saba, Al-Majdal. From its camps and streets rose national leaders, Yasser Arafat, Khalil al-Wazir known as Abu Jihad, Salah Khalaf, Abu Iyad, Sheikh Ahmed Yassin. And from its people came Saeed al-Mzayyan, who wrote the words of the Palestinian national anthem, Fida'i. A boy stands amid the rubble, his voice rising sweet and defiant. My homeland, my homeland, my homeland is who I am. He does not merely sing, he declares an unshakable truth. The Palestinian is the land. To erase one is to erase the other.
موطني 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 يا أنا موطني 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 يا أنا.
This destruction did not begin on October 7, 2023. It was always the plan. 2 decades ago, Israeli strategist Arnon Sofer prophesied, when 2.5 million people live in a closed-off Gaza, it's going to be a human catastrophe. Those people will become even bigger animals than they are today. The pressure at the border will be awful. It's going to be a terrible war. So if we want to remain alive, we will have to kill and kill and kill all day, every day. If we don't kill, we will cease to exist. And so they sealed Gaza in. Then they starved it. Now they try to erase it. Trump's vision is that of the colonial exterminator, not satisfied with mere death, not content with flattening homes, crushing hospitals, silencing classrooms. He does not only wish to bomb the living, he seeks to erase the dead, to make Gaza a void, a land with no past, no memory, no people. This is the same cold calculus that justified the slaughter of millions in the Americas, the same ruthless hand that wiped ancient nations from the earth in Australia, always in the name of civilization, always under the banner of progress. Cities turned to dust, languages swallowed by silence, histories rewritten by the conqueror's pen. A middle-aged man sits in silence on the ruins of his home, the dust of destruction clinging to his skin like a second grief. When asked why he does not leave, why he remains in the shadow of devastation, his answer is quiet but unshaken. My son has died here. His blood was spilled here. His bones lie beneath this rubble. Sitting here, I feel close to him. In that single sentence lies the weight of 1,000 untold stories. To the world, it is just debris, just ruins to be cleared away. But to them, it is sacred ground where memories breathe beneath the dust. The truth is, Gaza was, Gaza is, Gaza will be, and it is our collective duty to defend, restore and preserve it, not just for Palestine and the Palestinians, but for history itself, because Gaza is not nothing. Gaza is our human heritage.